Oh man, this one's a rough one. How's it going? How's it going, people? For those of you who've been following for a little bit, you guys probably know. Back in December last year, my grandma passed away. Before that, um, a little before my wedding, in at the end of July, I can't remember the date, but my cousin passed away from brain cancer. So my cousin passed away last year from brain cancer in July. Grandma was diagnosed in November, passed in December. Um, and then right as she passed, my uncle was diagnosed with stage 4, and he was in for the run too. But he was a little bit younger, so considering that, like the treatments and like everything you gotta everything you gotta do for like treatment, he stood a better chance. He responded to treatment a lot better. My grandma, once they found out she was so, skinny, frail, and fragile, treatment really wasn't an option. So, but my uncle actually had a shot. So he started doing treatments and he was responding well to it. And then just after a while, just took a decline. And then he passed, sadly, passed in April. So I've had quite a few people pass away, and I'd never dealt with grief before. And so going from not dealing with grief ever to like losing all these people and then trying to understand what this means to you and how to continue living life without these people. Because it's rough. It's rough. You never know. It can happen at any moment. Now my uncle, I'm gonna do this stream, this live, and to kind of talk about my uncle, like who he was. So he was 9 years old when he got to the United States. Um, he'd immigrated from Cuba with my grandmother took all three of my uncles and my mom and immigrated from Cuba to the United States to seek refuge, man. Like Cuba's one of those countries that like they're killing their people. The government is they're the whole communist shit is just horrible. So they immigrated over here. He was 9 years old. Um, and then he grew up in the streets of South Side Chicago, or not South Side, I'm sorry, West Side, Southwest, like Southwest kind of, and then more West Side when he was like in his young teens. So him and my other uncles got into like gangs. What up, Liv? Yeah, I was gonna say I can send you my I'll send you, I don't know if you got Insta, but that's a way I can send you my info. So next time we want to do it live, I can put you on there. We could do it. Do it. It's actually good. I mean, fucking kudos, dude. Kudos to you. The same. I didn't have Insta either. Like I got rid of all that. But then when I started the YouTube channel, I was like, maybe I should do an Insta, and kind of. But I haven't done nothing with it. I haven't shared anything. A couple people follow me. Haven't posted shit. Um, still a piece of garbage. I got that stuck in my head. Oh wait, how do I? No one's watching. Just shout out my number. My self-esteem is too. Oh, come on. I mean, I get it. I can't. I get it. Because others, I'll have the same issue when people be like, "For real? Like, why?" And but they don't understand. It's like combination. Combination of a lot of stuff. You know, um, society, societal standards. Then you got like interpersonal exchanges, maybe with family. Family makes comments. Um, there's a lot of, and then like me too. Like I used to be really really overweight, and I was like, yo, once I lose the weight, like I'm good. And it's like once I lost the weight, that's when the real body dysmorphia kicked in. And I was like, dude, I'm too skinny. I gotta, and like it was bad. Like I'm not gonna lie, I developed a eating disorder. I was bulimic. Yeah, let's see, like my mid 20s, and it's weird. Like I guess statistically speaking, like the data says it's more common in like teenagers and stuff, teenage girls. And but I don't buy that. Like I feel like anybody who is critical of themselves or has body dysmorphia, they can develop an eating disorder too. And just, I mean, like when they do these studies, I think a teenage girl who's like, going through the shit and, wants society to be aware, like they'll come forward and be like, yeah, I suffer from eating disorders and society puts a lot of pressure. But like a man, you think a man's gonna admit that? I don't think any dude who has an eating disorder would come, you know what I'm saying, because of like the stigma, like, dude, you're a man. Like, how do you have an eating disorder? But yeah, I sure as hell developed one. Like I would binge eat. Um, like I'd work out, I'd eat my healthy stuff, I'd eat my healthy food, and then I'd binge eat like a lot of bad, like garbage. And then I would just purge right after. It was really fucked up. Yeah, I used to go to the gym every day for a year last year, and I stopped eating. Or when I did physical, wouldn't keep it down. It was really difficult. Yeah, it's hard, man. I haven't worked out either. It's been a while since I like worked out. I've been dealing with a lot of like, it's just a lot of shit, man. Like, there's more important things, I guess, that I gotta really prioritize right now. And once that's okay and that's fixed, like the gym, I got a home gym, so that's nice. I got the luxury of having that. But if I didn't, as soon as things calm down, I'd look around and then find me a little gym or give me a little membership. Cause man, it's not just the physical benefits, right? Like your body's changing and you start seeing like the changes, but like just that neurochemistry, like the stuff that's going on in the brain, you know what I mean? Like the oxytocin and norepinephrine and dopamine that's being released, like those are the things that are going to keep driving you. Like, hey, you know what? Let's keep going. Let's keep doing this. So that's awesome. That's a cool thing about working out. But I think just being active, like if you can't get to the gym, I'm not saying you, I'm saying like just in general for a lot of people, they don't have like time is a big struggle for a lot of people. But there are like these like high intensity type workouts that take about 10 minutes. And I mean, if you just have like an open space where you can just spaz out and like do all these like burpees and shit like that, you could do like a little 10-minute high intensity. No one's watching. You're sweating like a fucking dude. I'd be sweating like a pig just in my basement, hiding from society because I was super self conscious. Yeah, I was like 230, 245 pounds. Now I'm at like 150, I think. Somewhere around there. I'm floating like around 150. So I damn near lost almost 100 pounds. And because of that, like, so it doesn't look bad, but like if I squeeze in, like you see how like the extra loose skin from losing all that weight, that's that's one of the con. I mean, not a con, but it like it's one of the caveats. Like it comes along with the weight loss. But I don't care, man. Like I look at that and I'm like, dude, my stomach looks like an asshole. It's because I lost all that weight. You know what I mean? But yeah, I try not to do that in public because my stomach looks like a straight butthole. Hold on, I gotta catch up. I have too much going on. Yeah, that's literally what it is. Time. It sucks, man. The way that the world is, and it's like they build it to where we have no time and we have to sacrifice certain things and play mental games with ourselves. I have 10 shows for theater. Nice. I was telling Brittany about that. We were talking about you earlier. Not in a bad way, but I was like, she's like a theater girl. So I'm like, I assume that you have no issues like being on camera, or you're kind of not no issues, but like when you make your content, like you're not as nervous, I guess, since you do it more, or like since you're kind of like in that environment. And the next 3 weeks, and I have to be at theater 9 a.m. to 8. Yeah, dude, that's crazy. 12 hours almost, and that's gonna take a really big toll. Yeah. So with that being said, hold on. Apartment complex right across the street. That comes with. Oh, nice. Yeah, we talk about you. So I told her I was like, yeah, she's kind of in that environment. You know what I'm saying? So it makes it. I would maybe I'm wrong for assuming, but I was like, I'd assume it makes it easier for her to um get out there and like make the content. But to Steve. Yeah, that's crazy. Like some people can do like this stuff, or some people can't do public speaking, but they can do this, or like vice versa. They can't do this, but they can stand on stage in front of a crowd. I think it's different. It's a real different um it's a different environment, like we're if you go perform on stage, like there's expectations. People are like seated and they know what they kind of know what they're getting. And when you're on like YouTube and shit live, like you get a lot of trolls and like that shit, like they don't let that shit fly in like on Broadway. If someone's popping off, they're gonna beat you up and kick you out. You know what I mean? Um, so says easy people aren't content is easy, yeah, people aren't. You're not you on stage and that's nice. I mean you kind of get to lose yourself into a character or something like that. And then yeah, I guess it's different. I've never really done any like I was too shy to do any of that shit. But I've been kind of interested in like writing some stand-up material and maybe doing like a 5 minute, you know, stick somewhere like a local open mic place or something like that. Um, because I love comedy. I just love I like making people laugh. It's always been my coping mechanism. gets a lot of people, most people would say like, yeah, make me laugh, make me feel better, make me laugh. So yeah, but I've just always been a class clown, always cracked jokes, always been the guy that in the middle of an awkward pause was like, saying stuff. And yeah, I truly enjoy it. It's not even like honestly, like if I had a full-time job and had the time to do stand up like every weekend, I do it for free. As long as I get a couple laughs, like it's worth it to me. Like right now, I'm in Alice in Wonderland, so I'm not in the mock turtle. Nice. Yeah, it's nice. It's nice to get that feedback, and that kind of pushes your momentum and to keep going, to keep pushing forward. That's acting and like theater is crazy, man. Like I get like all those method actors. Um, just for example, I know Christian Bale's gets brought up a lot, but like The Machinist and then Batman, the amount of weight that he lost and gained was like dangerous. And just the fact that these actors or these performers, these entertainers really get that deep into the character where they're no longer, who they are. They're someone else. And sometimes even after shooting's over, like after the movie's over, these people are still stuck in character, which is freaking crazy, dude. I'd be super down to do something like that. Like try maybe. I actually did. There's a music video my brother shot. Nikki, my brother, the guy I was on last night. He Anthony might have showed you the video. It was called Get It. And it was like a little low budget music video that he shot or whatever, but it was pretty lit. It was fun. The best thing is when you're in the middle of a scene and directors start fucking cackling because you did something new and experimental with your character and body, and when they go over notes and yeah, yeah, it's nice, right? Like when you go off script and kind of give them a little piece of you, and they're like, "Hey, we like it." Yeah, I think you should keep pushing forward for sure, 100%. This if you're passionate about it, if you're deeply passionate about it, don't stop. You know what I mean? Baby steps. I mean, you can stop. Theoretically speaking, you can stop, but just don't regress. You know what I mean? Don't take any steps back. If you got to stop, pause, cool. Pause, and then take those baby steps forward. And then once you get that momentum, keep going. But yeah, I mean, sometimes life slaps you in the face, so you might have to take a pause. Pretty gay shirt. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Theater is so draining. Might just go in the makeup department. See actually guards who stage makeup more than acting. Do you have an AK-47? Nah, I wish I did. That'd be pretty cool. AKs they're dope. I don't know. I heard that they don't perform that well though. Like AKs. I mean, they're more flashy than anything. I mean, they get the job done, but I mean, if you compare them to I guess if you compare them to other assault rifles, I guess they're not as good. I don't know. It's just what I heard. DPP, your stepdad has an AK, bro? No way, your stepdad has an AK. Maybe. Shit. Oh, he's into guns and stuff. I kind of am too, but just haven't had the chance to go in and like look around and stuff. Um, or like purchase one. You know what I mean? I do want one for. Do want to eventually get one. Um, just not sure. Like a lot of people are like, you should get a pistol for home defense. You should get an AR-15, and it's like an AR-15, like an AR. Like I'm just imagining me cutting around a corner, and my muzzle sticks out, and the guy's, he just grabs the gun and just. If I have a pistol or something like more close, like close to me, like I can kind of pop around the corner easier, and I won't have to struggle for like won't be a struggle for the gun. But then people are like, oh, pistols. So I'm just like, he hunts a lot. He's got, yeah. See, I want to get a recurve, either a recurve or compound. I heard is actually more beginner friendly. Compound bows. That's what I want to get. Compound bow when I start hunting. Eventually, like I might, purchase a rifle or something like that. But I kind of just want to stick to the bows. Keep it as primitive as possible, even though it's a fucking compound bow. That's like when people are like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go camping," and they take their RV. It's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go hunting like our ancestors with the compound bow and like the wrist thing." Yeah, what's that? That says, "Yeah." Random person says, "And what do you prefer?" I don't know. I mean, for just general like shooting for fun, rifles are nice. But I think for home defense, I guess it just depends what your strategy is. If you're on defense, you can, have everyone gather up into whatever designated room, right? And then you can just pretty much like master bedroom, kind of like defend the bedroom down the hallway, and then you can realistically sit if your rifle's there and reachable, and you could, flashlight. Let's say it's in the middle of the night, you pop around the corner with your rifle, and they got the flashlight, like you're blinding them. You know what I mean? It's a lot of you got a lot of advantage. But like if you're on the offense and you want to explore your home and see where this guy's at, which I wouldn't recommend. I'd recommend falling back into a nice like you know safe spot where you got a nice vantage point and just let them come to you. Let them take whatever, you know what I'm saying? If you got homeowners insurance, let them take whatever. You don't want to risk your life, but definitely, yeah, defend your shit if you have to. I like using a nice bow when I hunt. Oh, you go hunting, dude? Yeah, it is badass. Yeah, me too. That's the one thing that I've started developing like love for nature and animals and shit. So I'm not hunting like I'm not gonna hunt for sport. I'm gonna hunt for food. Like I'm actually gonna hunt medium, large game. Maybe not so much small game, but just enough meat for like I don't know, 3 months, 6 months. Put it in the deep freezer. I know that some Native Americans used to hold rituals for certain animals that they killed. Um, I know it was really like I don't know the word, but very not taboo. It was frowned upon if you killed a bear. So anytime a Native American or a tribe member killed a bear, they were sad and like they would have a whole ceremony, and they utilize they utilize every bit of the animal, or every bit of the bear, the hide, the meat, the bones, everything. So I intend on doing the same thing. And it's going to be emotional, but I want to have um, maybe like a mini, like something ceremonial, to pay tribute to the animal, for feeding me and my family. So I think I can, yeah. It's gonna be sad the first few times for sure. I think it's gonna bug me a little bit, but is that any worse than going to the supermarket and picking up a pack of steak that came from some fucking industrial size, slaughterhouse where they're fucking, pushing cows with forklifts and just making them roll fucking into the dude, it's so sad. That's sad. Yeah, see, providing it, yeah, I respect that for sure. I mean, I'm not shitting on anybody who hunts for trophy hunting. That's to each their own. But I love seeing people um that actually, just awareness and shit are just more on point. They're more peak, so they know what's going on. Like they know, paying homage to the universe, the creator, and all that is for providing. I think there's something to that for sure. Venison, nice. I've had venison burgers before. I didn't even know it was. I didn't even know it was venison. And I was at my buddy's house. We were slamming burgers. His dad was on the grill. He's like, "You like that burger, Mike?" I was like, "Yeah, it's pretty good." He goes, "Yeah, it's venison." I was like, "Venison? What's that?" And I was like, "Oh man, it didn't taste gamey. I mean, at least his didn't. Maybe he cooked it right or whatever, but pretty good." And that's what I want to. I don't want to go after things that taste gamey, and maybe some like whitetail. I know they got whitetail out here. Um, Eventually, once I get more experience, I do want to go to the Smokies, which is a few hours out from where I'm at, and that's the only place where you're allowed to, or not the only place, but you're allowed to hunt bear during bear season. Um, I'm not so sure how I'd feel about that. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't think that would be. I don't know. It's just because like the meat, I've heard like different things on bear meat, so it's like Pearson is soaking in lemon juice. Nice. That sounds good. I think buttermilk. What? That sounds pretty good though. Um, yeah, I don't know. I think my stepdad was like, "Hey, we should, I'd be down to go bear hunt." And I was just like, "I don't know how I feel about that, man." Like, of course I'd utilize a whole, animal and do that whole thing, but it's dangerous. If you miss, I mean, even what black bears, I think, are the black bears are the least aggressive, and they still have a slash force of like 600 pounds, 700 pounds, dude. So if you miss that shot, you're cooked. Yeah, dude, lemon juice and buttermilk. I mean, don't you put lemon juice in? I mean, if you're making homemade buttermilk, I think you use lemon and like some other stuff. So you weren't that far off. Yeah, we probably would get along. You might be able to teach me some. I've never been hunting before, so all this is all new to me. and getting used to the terrain. Oh shit, I forgot this live, dude. Shout out to Fred Dog. Um, so he came over here, started gangbanging, got into drugs, and he had a really rough upbringing. Dad, didn't have dad around and stuff. Um, and he got into some trouble. He went to jail. He went to jail for impersonating a police officer. Like him and my uncles and my sister's father used to dress up as undercover police officers in Chicago, and they prey on like illegals, like Mexicans, because at that time everyone had cash on them. You know what I mean? And if you were illegal, like more often than not, you're getting your check cash or like a check cash place. So they'd wait for them to, either that or get off the metro, and they'd pull up in like a fake cop car that had, the spotlight and everything. And they'd have the vests with the fake badges. So these poor guys had no idea. And then one time they had this, they had this, they had this guy up against their car and they're frisking him. They robbed him, sent him on his way, but he wasn't an illegal. He was legal. He had his residency. So he went straight to the police department and said, "Hey, I just got robbed by some of your detectives." And they're like, "What?" So they did some research, and one night when my uncle and all of them had a few Mexicans up against a wall, they were frisking them. A real detective pulled up right behind them, and boom, they popped them. They got fingerprints off the hood of the fake cop car to verify that the guy was indeed had his hands up against the hood, and they robbed him. They had, everything that they robbed from him still on them, stupid as shit. So he went to jail for a long time. Then he got out, got back into substance use, and just kind of declined from there, let jobs go. But this last few years, something changed in him. Like he was clean for 5 years, and then really trying to help his son and be involved in his son's life. Um, get out there working. He got promoted a few times, working at the hotel he was in. And he really started to like have some like self-respect, some like dignity, you know what I mean? Then he got sick and passed away, old Fred Dog. But I remember my youngest memories. He would take me to the city, Chicago. We'd drive around looking for a good spot for empanadas. And dude, he would just hit on chicks all day. That's all he did. Every chick, every hot chick on the corner, he'd be like, "What's up, girl?" All this shit. And dude, this one time we were at a red light and this car pulls up next to us and it's a trans woman. We'll just say that. And back then, it's trans back then compared to trans now is way different. Uh so we're at the red light and we look over and we think it's a chick at first, right? And then he turns his face and looks at my uncle and he like winked and like stuck his tongue out. My uncle blew the red light, bro, and just took off. He was like, "Ah." I'll never forget that. Oh, it was funny as shit. Damn, you make some mean empanadas, dude. Where they at then, bro? We got a link. It was a funny moment. It was a funny moment. I don't know why I did that. I felt some negative energy floating around, so I just fucked it up real quick. Because I'm not trying to have any of that shit. I'll fucking, I'll reject that shit. Dog, you're 2 states, yeah. Unfortunately, ain't no, bro. There's like no Mexican restaurant. There's no Mexican food anywhere within like 10 miles. It's fucked. All I got is McDonald's out here, Wendy's, Domino's. So home cooking. I want to take off. I got to dip. But me and Nikki are hopping back on. Yeah, I wouldn't survive, dude. I'm crying. I just want a taco, bro, with the salsa verde. Like, bro, just want one taco. You need Mexican food too. Yeah, bro. So that's what I wanted to do. I'm gonna make some appointments, and I'll shala at ya, holla at y'all a little bit later. Yeah, keep an eye out. I'll keep an eye out if you go live too. If you get a hold of Anthony, tell him he's an asshole. I've been sending him nonstop texts and you don't even respond, bro. But I feel like something's going on. So we'll see. I don't know if you know the situation. The kid's working a lot, and I think he's working to help his mom. I don't think he should be doing that. That's not his responsibility. You know what I mean? I mean, there's two grown ass men that live there. So if there's rent that needs to be paid, yeah, I figured, he's just going through the shits and just kind of, but that's what worries me. Like, you got to reach out eventually at some point, decompress and like let some of this shit off your chest. And plus, because he's constantly fighting with his stepdad, I'm like, dude, just come stay with me. I was like, come stay with me. You can still send money if you want to help, and like, you ain't got to pay shit. Just want you to like be happy. I want you to be able to just be peaceful. You know what I'm saying? Boss, he's on vacay. Yeah, oh, that fucking sucks, dude. Yeah, that's the problem. If you get little sleep, that's not an issue. But if it's shitty quality, no, you're burning off all these fumes. You're running off fumes. But hopefully he has a break coming soon, or this guy comes back from vacation or something. Because yeah, it's crazy. But if he hits me up, I'll make sure to mention it. Tell him to hit you up, and if he hits you up, tell him to call your pops. He'd like to talk to you. He might. Yeah, he might. It's his circadian rhythm's probably all fucked. So I might buy him some like nighttime mushroom cocoa or something like that to help him like stay sleeping. Or Lucid has a pretty good hot chocolate, like hot cocoa, and it's got like all those adaptogens in it, and then it has like a nootropic stack in it, which is like L-theanine, magnesium, glycine, all these good things for sleep. So I'm just gonna fucking mail it out his way and just be like, yo, he'll get it. Even if he doesn't respond to me, just start drinking that shit. But all right, y'all, live. You a real one, always. Remember, got your back. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the future. Peace out. Love, peace, and chicken grease. Be safe.